WNBA, they're having troubles with tickets now because Caitlin Clark is out.
Caitlin Clark's absence is having an immediate impact beyond the court.
There's no question about that. The league lives and dies with Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark is the only reason why people watch the WNBA.
Just 2 minutes ago, the shocking truth dropped. Ticket prices for Indiana Fever games have completely imploded without Caitlin Clark on the court.
Indiana Fever tickets fall by 42%.
Ticket prices are dramatically falling due to the fact that Caitlin Clark is out. You're seeing prices fall. You're going to see empty arenas. You're going to see less merchandise sales. You're going to see worse ratings. You're going to see things basically decline.
We're talking about arenas going from sold out to silent, $137 seats dropping to $14 overnight. The WNBA is scrambling, and you better believe they're begging for her return.
Christine Brennan puts it perfectly. WNBA without Clark, league feels the hurt. Without Caitlin Clark, fan fervor's down, ticket sales are down, merchandise is down.
Why? Because Caitlin Clark is the league.
Caitlin Clark is the needle mover.
She is the needle mover.
She is the franchise player.
And she was the MVP. She is the main draw.
She wasn't the one who was full sprinting down the court.
And now that she's out, the collapse is undeniable. Drop a comment if you support Caitlin Clark 100% and believe she deserves better treatment from this league. Let your voice be heard, because the numbers don't lie.
She's a star caliber player.
She is more famous than all of this generation's stars.
Caitlin Clark effect. There has been so much of an influx in attendance, in jersey sales, and viewership, all the things.
Caitlin Clark comes into the WNBA. Goes through college. She has panache. She has style.
She's my role model. I really look up to her.
Why do you like Caitlin?
Yeah, she's so good at basketball.
Because she's that awesome person, and she has like a lot of aura, so like.
When Caitlin Clark went down with a quad injury,
Clark will be sidelined for at least 2 weeks as she suffered a left quad strain.
it wasn't just the Indiana Fever that felt the hit. The entire WNBA economy took a nosedive. Ticket prices, which had skyrocketed thanks to the Caitlin Clark effect, collapsed overnight.
WNBA without Caitlin Clark remains an attraction that not many people want to watch. Without Caitlin Clark,
is going to massively affect the WNBA.
Caitlin Clark is the closest thing that they have to quality play. Caitlin Clark, the Caitlin Clark effect is very real. She is the most valuable player in the league.
Before the injury, the average purchase price for games Clark was scheduled to play in was around $137. After the news of her absence broke, that average dropped to just $80. That's a jaw-dropping 71% crash in value in less than 24 hours.
Ticket prices have drastically fallen since Monday's news of Clark's injury. The average purchase price was 71%. Average has dropped from $137 to $80.
The road game against the Washington Mystics was so in demand that it had been moved to a bigger arena in Baltimore to hold thousands of extra fans, all expecting to see Caitlin Clark in action. But when word came that she wouldn't be playing, the cheapest ticket went from $41 to just $14.
Before the injury, the lowest ticket available for Fever's matchup in Chicago was $86. For the game in Washington, fans needed at least $41 to get in. After the news of Clark's absence, those get-in prices fell to $25 from $86 and $14 from $41.
That's not just a discount, that's a fire sale. The same thing happened for the Chicago Sky matchup. That game was billed as another Clark versus Reese showdown and was moved to the massive United Center for the first time in WNBA history. The cheapest ticket, it was $86. But after the injury news, that plummeted to $25, with entire sections of the arena left unsold and empty.
The game on June 7th, the tickets were originally $86. Same seats, now $25. After her injury announcement, there's a massive drop in ticket sales.
And it's not just the road games. Indiana Fever home games were also hit hard.
The road games in Washington and Chicago have been heavily impacted as both were moved to bigger arenas to accommodate the demand to see Clark. Yeah, that arena is about to look real empty, right? Those arenas are about to look empty.
Ticket prices for upcoming games dropped to as low as $11 and $13 on TickPick and SeatGeek. cheaper than some high school games.
Price of these tickets were going down because the hype was kind of dying anyway.
In fact, tickets that were previously over $100 were now listed for under $20. Fans were literally dumping their tickets after finding out Clark wasn't going to be on the court. Let's be real, fans weren't showing up for the team. They were showing up for her. That's why prices imploded. That's why arenas emptied. The league isn't just missing a player, it's missing the reason people care. Caitlin Clark isn't just part of the WNBA. She's the reason people bought in.
The Caitlin Clark effect is going to be tabled, and we're going to find out what kind of ratings and attendance we see for the Indiana Fever.
Clark is the only driver of your business.
The WNBA has never seen anything, or anyone, like Caitlin Clark. The buzz, the headlines, the TV ratings, the packed arenas, they all trace back to her. It's not hype, it's reality. And now that she's out injured, that reality is hitting the league like a wrecking ball. Every drop in ticket sales, every empty seat, and every desperate resale listing tells the same story. Without Caitlin Clark, this league does not move.
It is undeniable that Caitlin Clark is the engine.
Caitlin Clark effect, there has been so much of an influx in attendance, in jersey sales, and viewership, all the things.
That's about star power, narrative, and likability.
Caitlin Clark comes into the WNBA, goes through college. She has panache. She has style.
Let's start with the cold, hard truth. Clark isn't just a star, she's a phenomenon. She led the NCAA in viewership records, drew more fans than NBA teams in some games, and brought that momentum straight into the WNBA. The moment she was drafted, ticket prices exploded. Games featuring Caitlin sold out in hours. Road teams moved their matchups to larger arenas just to cash in on the demand to see her live.
She is highly likable. I think that lends itself to her popularity is she comes across as somebody that's really just respectful, likable. There's other players out there that just don't come across that way.
We're talking NBA-style hype for a rookie. That's not normal. That's Clark. Now contrast that with what's happening right now. Since her injury, the same teams that moved their games to NBA-sized arenas are watching in panic as those seats go unsold. Entire sections remain empty.
Everybody's trying to sell their tickets. Look at how many actual sale tickets haven't sold. There are entire sections of the stadium empty.
Ticket prices are slashed in half or more. This isn't a league-wide issue. This is a Clark-sized vacuum. Think about it. In Washington, they moved the game from the 4,200-seat ESA to the massive CFG Bank Arena in Baltimore to accommodate the Clark frenzy. But when she was ruled out, the arena went from packed to practically deserted. In Chicago, the United Center was primed for another sold-out Clark vs. Reese showdown. Instead, resale sites are flooded with unwanted tickets. Average prices fell from $210 to just $95.
In fact, when Caitlin Clark's not playing, you see people turning it off or selling their tickets.
The get-in price dropped to $25. Why? Because Clark won't be there. And that's just the in-person impact. Let's talk national buzz. Caitlin Clark is the reason anyone outside the hardcore fan base even talks about the WNBA. Her name trends every game. ESPN, Yahoo Sports, CNN, they all cover her every move. When she scores 35, headlines. When she takes a hard foul, headlines. When she's out injured, more headlines. Even her absence gets more attention than most WNBA games ever have.
She is a supernova fame, a level of fame with one-of-a-kind talent, and it is game-changing for the entire league.
Caitlin Clark effect seems to be crazier than year one.
Caitlin Clark is Indiana Fever's leading scorer at over 19 points a game. Caitlin Clark is undeniably the offensive engine.
Cannot deny the impact that she's made on this sport.
That's nice.
And she was shooting the shit out of it.
Of course she was.
Right, so she was shooting the shit out of it. And
she's the face of the league.
Agreed.
She's my role model. I really look up to her.
Why do you like Caitlin?
And she's so good at basketball.
Because she's that awesome person and she has like a lot of aura, so like.
Compare that to other top players. As great as they are, Aja Wilson, Brianna Stewart, Angel Reese, none of them have moved the needle like Caitlin Clark. The brutal truth, fans aren't showing up in record numbers for anyone else. Players like Angel Reese have claimed, it's not just Caitlyn, we're stars too. But the empty seats beg to differ. Fans aren't paying to watch missed layups and brick Barbies. They want the fireworks Clark delivers night after night. And it's not just casual fans. Longtime WNBA critics, even some who called the league irrelevant, are now tuning in because of Caitlyn Clark. One creator said it outright, I never watched the WNBA until Clark showed up. She's the only one worth watching. That's not shade to the league. That's a wake-up call. Clark's Steph Curry-style shooting, flashy assists, court vision, and fiery passion have breathed life into a league that desperately needed it.
She's the Rookie of the Year. She's 4th in the league in MVP voting. She's like Steph Curry. She can pull up from anywhere. She's outstanding and clearly worthy of being the number 1 overall pick.
Even former WNBA players are feeling the shift. Some complain about how loud the arenas have become, that it's too chaotic, that they can't concentrate. One even said it used to be peaceful enough to bring a laptop and do work. That's not a complaint. That's an admission. Caitlyn Clark brought real fans, real noise, real energy, and some of the old guard can't handle it. But you know who can? The new generation. The young girls wearing her jersey, the parents showing up with their kids, the college fans following her journey.
WNBA rumors suggest Caitlyn Clark will be among the first stars making $1 million annually. The most notable of which is, y'all already know who, the needle mover, Caitlyn Clark.
So in 2024, she averaged 16.5 points per game, 4 assists, 5.5 rebounds. She shot 37% from the field and 31.8% from 3. Now, if you look at her preseason in 2025, she only played 2 games in this preseason, and one was against that Brazilian national team. She played 21 minutes. She averaged 14.5 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. She shot 52.5% from the field and 50% from 3-point range.
The millions watching on TV, many for the first time ever. Caitlyn isn't just growing the WNBA, she's transforming it. And now that she's sidelined, that engine is off. The league feels it. The arenas feel it. The fans feel it. Caitlyn Clark is the WNBA's economic driver, its ratings magnet, and its only true mainstream superstar right now. Without her, everything stalls. And the longer she's gone, the more obvious that becomes. If the WNBA thought they could undermine Caitlyn Clark and still keep the money flowing, the ticket implosion after her injury just proved them dead wrong. But this didn't start with her injury. It started with a pattern of neglect, smear tactics, and hostility from within the league that's been boiling for months. And now that volcano has erupted. The ticket prices are just the first signs of fallout. Because fans, real fans, are waking up and asking, why is the league turning on the one person actually saving it? Let's talk about the racism hoax that sparked it all. During the heated Fever versus Sky matchup on May 17th, Caitlyn Clark took a hard foul from Angel Reese. Tempers flared, tensions rose, and moments later, Reese publicly claimed she was the target of racism, not from players, but from Indiana Fever fans.
Angel Reese basically claimed that fans were being racist towards her.
The media pounced. Suddenly, headlines everywhere were accusing Fever fans of racist behavior. Even though there was no footage, no audio, no evidence, just a claim. The WNBA responded by launching a full investigation. They reviewed arena footage, interviewed fans, staff, security, and even analyzed game audio. And what did they find? Nothing.
They investigated, all the claims, and there's literally nothing that happened. They're like, it's unfounded.
The official league statement confirmed it. We have not substantiated any evidence of racist behavior. The Fever released their own follow-up saying, hate speech has no place here, and none was found. So where's the apology? Where's the accountability for smearing an entire fan base? And by extension, Caitlyn Clark, just to cover up one player's frustration over being outplayed? Because that's exactly what happened. Clark dropped 30 and embarrassed Reese on national TV. And rather than admit she got torched, Reese shifted the narrative, played the victim, and turned fans into villains. All while Caitlyn Clark walked away again with class and silence. And it's not just Reese, It's been one incident after another. Brittany Griner, the league's most polarizing veteran, recently complained that games have become disruptive, that crowds cheering for Caitlin Clark are somehow making it harder to focus.
Brittany Griner comes out and says, I am so sick and tired of the WNBA. It used to be a peaceful, small little thing. Now there's crowds screaming, hollering. This is disruptive. It's not allowing us to play the game. Every time we play her, there's this commotion, like this loud rumbling from the stands. Turns out it's people, thousands of them, just sitting there watching on purpose. It's very disruptive.
She even insinuated that some of the crowd noise might contain light racism. Let's be clear. Thousands of families, kids, and fans cheering for Caitlin Clark aren't the problem. They're the miracle the league's been praying for decades. And now that they've finally shown up, Griner's upset because she can't bring her laptop and do work during the game anymore.
She says WNBA games used to be a chill, quiet place. You could bring your laptop and relax, maybe even get a little work done.
This isn't just nonsense. It's envy disguised as outrage. Caitlin Clark has become the lightning rod for resentment from other players and parts of the media who simply cannot accept that a young white woman has reignited the WNBA in ways no one else ever could. And instead of embracing that, they attack it. They twist it. They turn the conversation away from her basketball brilliance and onto narratives that divide and distract.
Caitlin Clark is the needle mover.
She is the needle mover.
She is the franchise player.
And she was the MVP.
She is the main draw.
She wasn't the one who was full sprinting down the court.
Let's not forget, this is the same league that gave Sabrina Ionescu superstar treatment when she entered. No one blinked when she got calls. But now that Clark is drawing crowds larger than entire WNBA markets, suddenly everything she does is up for criticism. Whether she talks too much, celebrates too confidently, or draws fouls the wrong way, the message is clear. Clark is being held to a different standard, a harsher one, and that bias has shown up on the court too. Repeated hard fouls, cheap shots, elbows to the face. Caitlin Clark has been targeted more than any rookie in recent memory. While the league calls it competitive energy, fans see the truth. She's being hunted. And the refs? Silent. The WNBA's top brass, missing in action.
What the hell is going on with WNBA that they cannot handle all this attention that they're getting, as well as the hate and anger towards Caitlin Clark?
All while the cameras roll, the fans gasp, and Clark just keeps playing through it all, like a pro. But that's the danger the WNBA is playing with. You can't build your entire house on one star and then tear her down with the foundation still wet. The moment Clark went out, the whole structure started to wobble. Fans aren't dumb. They see the gaslighting. They see the hypocrisy. They see the racism accusations thrown around carelessly. Not when Clark is targeted, but only when it's convenient to attack her supporters. Even mainstream voices have started to speak out. One commentator compared the WNBA's treatment of Clark to how Michael Jordan was hated by rivals before he changed the game forever. The difference? The NBA protected Jordan, embraced him, and rode his stardom to global heights. The WNBA, in contrast, seems torn, too blinded by internal politics and player jealousy to realize it's squandering the only golden goose it has. And this backlash isn't going unnoticed. Clark's absence has done what months of denial couldn't. It has exposed the league's greatest weakness. Without her, ticket sales collapse.
She's not going to be there, and the tickets have been slashed. Kane, that center is going to be empty.
Arenas empty, and national buzz dies overnight. And this isn't just about numbers, it's about trust. The fans who bought in for Caitlin Clark are now questioning whether the league even deserves her. And that question, once asked, is hard to unask. If the WNBA continues down this path, turning a blind eye to cheap shots, condoning smear campaigns, and refusing to publicly support its most valuable player, it won't just lose revenue, it will lose credibility. It will lose the very fans Caitlin Clark brought in, and those fans won't be coming back for anyone else.
I love watching her score and just everything about her.
They went the extra mile just to watch her play here.
This is great news for women's basketball. period.
That's nice. And she was shooting the shit out of it.
Of course she was.
Right. So she was shooting the shit out of it. And
she's the face of the league.
Agreed.
She's the face of the league. Agreed.
Just have nothing but great things to say about who she is as a person. She's so welcoming and so warm as an individual that she can have a conversation with anybody. She's cut from the same cloth as me in that regard. You know, us Midwesterners, we tend to just, accept everybody with open arms. She was so kind to my family and everyone in the suite when she came to KC. So huge fans of Caitlin Clark.
It is a mad situation just all around when it comes to Caitlin Clark, because it's very clear that she is way stronger.
So here we are. Ticket prices are crashing, seats are empty, and the energy is gone. All because Caitlin Clark isn't on the floor. That's not just a coincidence. That's a warning shot to the entire WNBA. You can try to silence her, foul her, smear her, or pretend this league would be fine without her. But the numbers say otherwise. Caitlin Clark didn't just elevate the Indiana Fever, she elevated the entire league. She brought in the fans, she brought in the sponsors, she brought in the money.
Caitlin Clark is a rising star in women's basketball. She's pulling in crazy viewership numbers.
Caitlin Clark is the GOAT. She signed my jersey. I'm so happy. I'm crying. I'm so happy. This is the best day ever.
The jerseys, the number 22, the various styles, whether it's a T-shirt with 22, whether it's an Iowa jersey, whether it's a Fever jersey, a throwback, whatever. The amount of people in yellow 22 apparel is stunning.
And now that she's out, the stadiums are quiet again, the spotlight is dimming, and the truth is blinding. Caitlin Clark is the WNBA's future, whether they want to admit it or not. If the league is smart, it'll stop pushing back and start protecting its biggest star. Because fans aren't watching for drama, they're watching for greatness, and greatness wears number 22.
Because she's that awesome person, and she has like a lot of aura, so like...
Cannot deny the impact that she's made on this sport.
Let us know in the comments. Do you stand with Caitlin Clark 100%? Because if you do, it's time to be louder than ever. The WNBA needs to hear it before it's too late.